This story is about a man who was so laid back. If you wasn't a fan, you wouldn't know that you were sitting next to a multi-time Grammy winner. A man who was as smooth as butter. This man is the great Bill Withers. Since you're here, go ahead and leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell for weekly uploads. Now, without further ado, let's cue that intro. Born William Harrison Withers Jr. on July 4th, 1938 in Slap Folk, West Virginia. Bill, he was the youngest of six, and his mother, Maddie Galloway, she had worked as a maid, and his father had worked as a coal miner. Now, growing up, Bill, he was around segregation in West Virginia, where the race, they was separated by one train track. The whites, they live on one side, and the blacks, they live on the other.
I want to talk to you first about growing up in Slab Fork. And when you think about your childhood there, you know, what do you picture and what comes to mind?
My family lived right beside this railroad track. And so all the white people lived on one side of the railroad track, and all the black people lived on the other side of the railroad track. Well, my mother bought a house that was just on the side that she wasn't supposed to buy it on. But it was, you know, just two houses, two families, you know, that were allowed over there. But when I was growing up, wherever I heard noise, that's where I went to play. And everybody called me little brother. In fact, my mother was looking for me on the side where all the white people lived once, and she was calling me by my name, and nobody said, no, we haven't seen him. Then she thought, well, maybe they call him, so they said, have you seen little brother? And said, oh yeah, he's right over there. So there was always a certain interaction here. I think more so than most southern states.
Do you think, I mean, how much of that, in terms of like a coal community and a coal camp kind of community where everybody's doing the same kind of work, and do you think that played into that?
Well, if you can stand the humor in it, when you come out of the coal mines, everybody's black. Plus, you're in a very dangerous situation. People have to have a certain trust for each other, you know what I mean? And then people become necessary to each other. So that environment, you know, will make you kind of get to understand the guy, you know, working over here, because you want him to be reliable.
By the time Bill had turned 3, his parents would get divorced. His mother, she would move him to Beckley, West Virginia, and at the age of 12, Bill, he had learned that his father had passed away. Now growing up, Bill, he had a stutter, and with his stutter, he really never fit in with most kids his age. So after high school, Bill, he would enlist into the United States Navy at the age of 17 as an airsoft mechanic. Now while in the Navy, Bill, he gained an interest of writing music and singing. And in 1965, at the age of 27, Bill, he would leave the Navy after serving 9 years, and 2 years later, in 1969, at the age of 29, Bill, he decided to move to Los Angeles to chase a music career. That same year, Bill, he would work and record the song 3 Nights in the Morning. Now this song, it went unnoticed, but later, Bill, he would rework on the song and re-release it and rename it Harlem. While in Hollywood, Bill, he worked a regular job throughout his whole career. Not because he had to, it was because he knew about the music business and he knew how grimy it could be. Pretty much, he would just rather pay for everything himself regarding his career. Bill, he would work for Douglas Aircraft Corporation, IBM, and Ford throughout his career to help pay for recording time and tapes for him to sell his demos during his performances at local clubs. This was a true hustle. Early 1970s, Success Records owner Clarence Avant had got a hold of Withers' demo. He was highly impressed with Withers and he had signed him right away. Now Avant, he had assigned producer Booker T. Jones to work on Withers' debut album. And on May 1st, 1971, Bill's debut album was released, titled Just As I Am. Now this album had reached number 5 on the Billboard Top R&B Album charts and number 39 on the Billboard Top 200 charts. This album also produced 2 hit singles with Grandma House that reached number 18 on the Billboard R&B charts and number 42 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. And Ain't No Sunshine that reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and number 6 on the R&B charts, also going number 9 on the Canada charts. Ain't No Sunshine would sell over 1 million copies, and this made the song go certified gold. The song will also win Withers his first ever Grammy for Best R&B Song in 1971, beating out other artists like Gladys Knight and the Pips, the Jackson 5, Jean Knight, and the Undisputed Truth. What a debut. Withers, he made a very impressive debut into the music industry. Like I said earlier, throughout Withers' career, he worked a regular job. In fact, his debut album Picture was taken while he was working his shift. Bill, he refused to quit his job. He strongly believed that the music industry was fickle. May of 1972, Withers' second album was released titled Still Bill. This album will reach number 1 on the Billboard Top R&B Album charts and number 4 on the Billboard 200 charts. The album had 2 hit singles with Use Me that reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and also number 2 on the Billboard R&B charts, and Lean On Me that reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and number 1 on the Billboard R&B charts. In 1973, Bill Withers, he would marry actress Denise Nichols, but the couple would soon get divorced in 1974.
We're here at Sussex Records, and we're talking to Bill Withers. You just got married not too long ago.
Yeah, I just got married, yeah.
To Denise Nichols?
Nicholas, right.
Right, room 222.
Yeah.
Beautiful lady, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
nice lady, yeah.
Just
Thank
from
you.
a girl's standpoint, is it extra hard, like 2 performers being married? You know, like you never get to see each other?
I've never been married any other way, so
You wouldn't know, huh?
so I don't have any reference off of it.
Is it hard for you to see each other?
Sometimes, yeah, but you don't get a chance to get tired of each other either, which could be an advantage, you know.
Well, that's for sure.
Now, Withers' third album was released titled Adjustments. This album had reached number 67 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 7 on the Billboard Top R&B Album charts. And the album also produced 3 hits with You that reached number 15 on the Billboard R&B charts, Heartbreak Road that reached number 89 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, and number 13 on the Billboard R&B charts. And lastly, The Same Love That Made Me Laugh that reached number 39 on the Canadian charts, number 10 on the Billboard R&B charts, and number 50 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. Now, after this album, Withers, he had some type of dispute with his label that left him unable to record for a short period of time. So, during the time when he couldn't record, he decided to write and produce 2 songs for Gladys Knight and the Pips. August of 1974, Withers, he performed with James Brown, Etta James, and B.B. King for the historic fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. The historic footage will later be shown in the 1996 documentary titled When We Were Kings and the 2008 film Soul Power. In 1975, Sussex Records went bankrupt and all of their artists was free to sign to whomever. Withers, he was the label's most popular artist at the time, so this had made him a hot commodity towards other labels. In 1975, Withers, he was signed to Columbia Records, and that same year he would go ahead and get to work and release his first album under the new label titled Making Music. This album reached number 81 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 7 on the Billboard Top R&B Album charts. The album also had 2 hit songs with I Wish You Well that reached number 54 on the Billboard R&B charts and Make Love to Your Mind that reached number 76 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and number 10 on the Billboard R&B charts. In 1976, Withers' second album under Columbia Records released titled Naked and Warm. Now, this album reached number 169 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 41 on the Billboard Top R&B Album charts. This album also produced 2 hit singles with If I Didn't Mean You Well that reached number 74 on the Billboard R&B charts and Close to Me that reached number 88 on the Billboard R&B charts. Withers and Columbia, they wasn't seeing eye to eye when it came to releasing music. So, Withers, he decided to pair up with Grover Washington Jr. for the song Just the Two of Us. Now, this song reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and number 3 on the R&B charts. In 1981, the song, it would win Withers his second Grammy Award for Best R&B Song, beating out artists like Quincy Jones, the Commodores, Carl Carlton, and the Four Tops. In 1976, Withers, he would marry Marsha Johnson, and the couple, they would bring in 2 children into the world. December of 1976, his 6th album was released. This album had reached number 39 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 16 on the Billboard Top R&B Album charts. This album had produced 2 hit singles, with Lovely Night for Dancing that reached number 75 on the Billboard R&B charts, and Lovely Day that reached number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and number 6 on the Billboard R&B charts. Now Withers, he will drop another album before taking a break from music for a short while, and on March 12, 1979, his 7th album was released titled About Love. This album had reached number 134 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 50 on the Billboard Top R&B Album charts. Now this album gave us 2 hit singles, Don't It Make It Better that reached number 30 on the Billboard R&B charts, and You Got the Hot Stuff that reached number 85 on the Billboard R&B charts. Now, nearly after 7 years, Bill Withers, he decided to drop his final album in 1985 titled Watching You, Watching Me. Now throughout Bill's life, he strongly felt that he was a regular old person. With him being an outstander growing up, along with him gaining a late start into the music industry, he wasn't easily influenced. In 2005, Bill Withers, he was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and in 2015, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, in 1988, Withers, he would re-record the song Lean On Me, which won him another Grammy. He was asked why he walked away from music, and Bill, he would say, quote, "It just wasn't in my DNA to stay in the industry. I don't have that gene that needs to draw attention," end quote. On March 30th, 2020, Withers, he would pass away from heart complications at the age of 81. Now Bill Withers, he had dropped his last album almost 7 years from his previous album, pushing the age of 50, might I add. Now he did all that just to show the world that he could go out at the top. On top of that, he would re-release one of his popular songs that just so happened to win him a Grammy. That's some legendary shit if you ask me. Ask anyone who knows Bill Withers, and they will tell you the same thing that I said earlier in this video. Bill, he was a lovely, caring person who was so laid back, he was just as smooth as butter.